Hey everybody, this is James with WSTrades.com. I want to provide a few updates here on a couple tickers that have made some big moves down here. One of them is VRTS, or Virtus Investment Company. Had some recent earnings here. We're kind of in an uptrend here and making moves higher, and then the earnings came out and they kind of made a nice rally up here to 273, but then backed off, made another attempt at that 273 level, and then started to really sell off. You can see they broke this support level right here at 250, which was touched twice right here, and then sold all the way down to this 230 level, rallied back up, but could not get through that 250. So you can see this thing here was a previous support level and then became resistance right here, at least on the 1 hour time frame. Starting to sell off again here. So you can see they're probably pretty close here to a 50% retracement on this latest run. I'm not able to stay above the 21-day EMA. So I'm definitely curious to see what happens from here. The two price levels I'm keeping an eye on is definitely around this 250 and then down to this 230. So if this thing continues to sell off and move down to this 230, I'm going to be looking at that level. If it can hold it and buyers can step back in and start buying it up there, that could be a good long entry if you want to try to trade this little channel right here between 230 and 250. But if the sellers crush it below the 230 level and it closes below that on this time frame, I'll definitely see that as a good short entry. And yeah, if things rally again, you could go long down here somewhere. If it comes down to this level and starts to reject it, buyers step in and pump it. And then it starts to rip up here towards this 250 level. And then if it's able to break through this level, that's going to be really key. As you can see, it has fallen through that support level on this time frame and then rejected it here. So it's definitely a barrier to the upside. If the buyers step back into this thing and start driving it up and it can break this 250 level here, that's going to be key. Wanted to provide an update on another ticker here as well. Here I want to go over is EPAM. Big move down here after the earnings. You can see once the earnings came out here, this thing started to slowly bleed out, and then a big move down here. Came down to around this 198 level. The buyer's trying to really step in there and keep this thing afloat. You can see it's up to 210 now. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that level. If the sellers are able to crush it below that 198.25 low there on this time frame and close it below that level, I'll definitely take that as a good short entry. And then to the upside, a definite barrier I can see here is like around 335. This was such a big, fast, hard move down that's a massive range to get up to that level. Let's check out the 15-minute to see if there's anything a little lower. Maybe, well, I kind of see here actually around maybe 220. As you can see, it sold off to around that 198, ran up to 220. Pulled back, ran up to 220 again, pulled back, and then really for a lot of candles here on this 15-minute time frame is riding right at that 220 level. See the buyers stepping in here, zooming in. There's a big wick sticking out. See sellers try to crush this thing down to 202. Buyers bought it back up. So buyers are definitely trying to step in here. But yeah, to the upside, maybe keep an eye on that 220. If it could break through that and close above that on this 15-minute time frame, then I think it's probably going to come up here and test around 240 or so. So some price points to keep an eye on there at the top end. I also want to cover some of my recent trades. Let's take a look here. 1 day back should be, well, it's not showing anything 1 day back. Let's go 7 days back from today. All right, so I did go long the RSX. This is the Russian ETF. And I kind of knew this was like a gamble play with everything going on. Russia is getting like cut off from the world financially, essentially with, all these sanctions and stuff. So the RSX ETF here, the Russian ETF, has really taken a beat down. So I kind of knew this was a gamble play. I want to say they gapped down today. Let's take a look. Yeah, so they were up around... I want to say the high 10s, almost $11 at close yesterday, and then they ripped really hard at one point in aftermarket. Might be right here. Yeah, they got above 11, and then as you can see in pre-market, really started to sell off. Got all the way down to $9. starting to rally back up now, back to around $10. I did sell the 14 call against these shares, so I did grab a little bit of protection there. So I think I got in around somewhere in the 10s. So if this thing does at some point rally back up to 14 or above it, before my options expire or that short call expires, then, I'll be okay with that, because I know this was like a total gamble play here. And, I'm just wanted to be in a position to where if Russia kind of backed off and, this thing started to recover and rip, that I would be in a position. What I kind of saw was let's check out the weekly, but even on the monthly chart, I saw this ridiculous RSI. I mean, this thing came from 33 down to like 10. So, and even on the monthly chart, it was also oversold. So I just kind of saw that massive move down, and I'm like, well, this thing's, about $10. So if I go out and grab 100 shares, that's not going to be too expensive of a long entry. And then if I go out and sell, a call against it, that'll give me a little more protection to the downside. But geez, they're down 8.5% now, so continuing to move lower. So yeah, this trade is just definitely all going to hinge on what happens, what decisions Russia makes as far as this whole Russia-Ukraine war, and whether they're going to kind of back off and maybe negotiate something. But we'll kind of see. But I do also realize that if they do not, and these sanctions remain in place, and they continue to be cut off financially pretty much from the world, this thing could keep moving lower. It's just rallied back up above $10 shares, so we'll kind of see what happens. And then also, let's see, what do I have here? Oh yeah, also EEM. This is Emerging Markets ETF. Yeah, I think I covered this one in my last video. So that was the only new trade that I got into yesterday. So I'll make another video and keep you guys updated on any new trades that I get into today. Please like this video. Please also subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this.